What if the most dangerous habit in your daily routine has nothing to do with junk food or skipping the gym? What if the real danger is simply sitting still? For the average person, sitting is the default state. Between work, commuting, and leisure, most of us spend between 8 and 10 hours a day planted in a chair. Those hours accumulate quietly through typing at a desk, sitting in traffic, scrolling on a phone, and finishing the day watching television. Because this routine is so widespread, it feels harmless. But this lack of regular movement creates a severe biological mismatch. Here is the paradox of modern comfort. While collapsing into a chair feels like a way to save energy, that physical stillness places massive, silent stress on your body. Human anatomy was engineered for continuous kinetic movement. We were built to walk, bend, and lift, not to remain locked in a static 90-degree angle for the majority of our waking lives. To see why this habit is so destructive, we have to look under the skin and observe how our internal systems react when the movement stops. Forcing the body into prolonged stillness actively short-circuits the biological machine. The shutdown begins in your lower body. The moment you take a seat, the electrical activity in your leg muscles drops to near zero. Because these heavy muscles are no longer contracting, your overall energy expenditure plummets. Your metabolism slows down, and calorie burning drops to a fraction of its normal rate. Under normal conditions, working muscles act like sponges, pulling glucose out of your bloodstream to use for fuel. This diagram shows an inactive muscle fiber. Because the body is still, it requires less energy, leaving glucose molecules floating freely, triggering a blood sugar spike. Over hours, this unused glucose stacks up outside cell walls, gradually reducing insulin sensitivity and creating metabolic friction. This means even if you exercise vigorously every morning, sitting still for the following 8 hours still disrupts your body's internal energy management system. Without the pumping action of your leg muscles, blood flow slows down and visibly begins pooling at the bottom of your lower legs. This sluggish circulation creates a steep uphill battle. Your heart now has to work significantly harder to pump that blood back up through the body against the pull of gravity. Subjecting your cardiovascular system to this daily prolonged strain directly contributes to higher blood pressure and increases your long-term risk of heart problems. At the same time, your skeletal frame is under pressure. Poor posture stresses your lower back, rounds your shoulders, and strains your neck. Between the vascular pooling in your legs and the compression on your spine, prolonged sitting forces your body to operate under constant wear. The damage even reaches the brain. We often assume that sitting down helps us conserve mental energy for focused work. The reality is exactly the opposite. Restricted blood flow and the absence of movement-stimulated chemicals starve your brain of the oxygen and nutrients it needs. The psychological fallout includes heightened stress, sluggishness, and a depleted, unmotivated mood. Physical inactivity serves as a biological depressant, directly undermining cognitive function and mental well-being. However, the physiological damage of sitting is not permanent. Reversing this cascade doesn't require extreme athletic training or running a marathon. The core solution is simply interruption. Standing up every 30 to 60 minutes breaks the cycle of stillness and allows your systems to reboot. Adding short walks or taking the stairs instantly engages your leg muscles, which restores healthy blood circulation and begins clearing out resting blood sugar. Even regular, brief stretching at your desk resets your structural posture, removing the chronic tension bearing down on your spine and neck. The human body is remarkably resilient. It repairs its own systems almost instantly the moment you provide the one thing it requires to function: movement. Sitting only becomes a hazard when it remains uninterrupted, trapping the body in a static state for hours on end. Take a second to mentally calculate your day. How many hours have you already spent sitting since you woke up this morning? Your body was built to move. If you're watching from a chair, stand up and take a few steps to get your systems back online.